All right, so being 6 o'clock on March 24th, we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order.
We'll call the cabinet to order.
Okay, this meeting is being audio recorded, held remotely on Zoom and in person, and live streamed on RCTV. The Board of Commissioners recognizes the importance of hearing public comment at the discretion of the chair on items on the official agenda. Once recognized, all persons addressing the board shall state their name and address prior to speaking, and it's the role of the chair to maintain order. I do not see any remote participants. I don't see anybody in public who wants to make a comment. So we'll move to liaisons. I don't see any liaisons here, but any new information from any of them?
The only thing I have in this category is the charter is up for, the Reading charter is up for, as a part of the warrant in the coming election. And there was no change to the language governing commissioners, so that's the only, otherwise I don't have any other news in any other projects that we've done.
Okay. Thank you. Policy committee update.
Yeah, we met a couple weeks ago, and some good approaches from Jason and Erica, which I think I talked to Erica today. We'll meet in a couple weeks and sit down and try to work them into red lines and bring something back to the committee at our April, was it 20? Erica, what did we set? Was it April 29th there's a meeting at the end of April. It's our next meeting. So by then
So it'll come back to the board or to the committee?
To the committee.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll be the first time the committee's looked at some red lines. Okay. Because to now we've just kind of discussed, kind of in general what the process is and give Jason the first cut at it. And that would be the first time that the committee would see any red lines. And then at some point we would vote them out too.
Okay. Yeah. Is that a May, June thing?
So vote them out to you guys?
Yeah.
I would say probably June, if not, May certainly, but more likely June. That would be 2 more meetings.
Okay.
Jason, that sound reasonable?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, there's no burning urgency.
Great. And I think that's it. Just policy committee, right? No other active committees. Okay. All right. So we'll move to procurement requests for approval.
Okay. This is a bid for mailing services for the municipal electric bills on February 4th of 2026. The IFB was issued for that. And the selected vendor will provide all materials and services required to print and mail the Rmld electric bills. We issue approximately 20,000 bills per month across 8 mailings, with individual quantities ranging from 60 to 6,000 bills. This bid was conducted in accordance with Chapter 30B, and it's being awarded to the lowest total 3-year price from the responsive and responsible bidder. The bid was sent to 25 vendors, and we received 2 sealed bids, with data integrators being the lowest responsive bidder, for a total of a 3-year price of $104,400. They are a current vendor. They've been there since 2016, and the pricing has not changed since 2019.
Questions? So this includes the cost of postage and
Yes,
all of that. Okay. Is it?
I think it's, I have to remember what the bid was, but it's postage as part of it, but it might be a separate.
Postage we get in a different
Separate,
invoice.
yeah. The postage is just a pass through, I believe.
Okay, so
Yeah.
104 is just the service and the printing and things, but not postage. Okay. Is it a fixed rate or is it based on volume per month or
That
per
one's
quarter?
fixed. It's always been fixed.
Okay, yeah.
It's a fixed rate, no matter the volume.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Are we seeing customers do more online? I assume that we are. If they're an online only or e-invoice only, it's not part of this service, right?
Right. I don't know if the numbers are how those numbers are working, but we could get that if we need to.
Just wondering, over time, do we potentially see a reduction in printing more online? And would that reduce this cost?
I'd have to go back to look at how the bid was worded, but.
Okay. It may just be, I don't know if it's too late, but it may just be worth looking at that and just making sure there's options for flexibility if people more and more go to e-invoice or e-bills.
I have a quick question just about, this is just sort of a little bit higher level question for my own understanding, but when do you decide to send invitations for bids as opposed to open bids?
I mean, to when we open the bid.
Well, no, like just a
25.
broad invitation. Yeah,
There-
you
there-
sent for 20.
This is a broad open, but we also, so it gets posted in combis and all those.
Okay, so it's also.
It's all,
open
it's
and
also
you just
open
did
and we also notify.
Okay, these
25.
20. Yep. Okay, got it.
So it's also posted on the website, right? It's
Yes,
posted.
yes, it's posted on the
Yeah,
website, it's
so
posted in,
Very
yes.
broad. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's posted in the
Okay.
newspaper and then if you have people that you want to notify, you notify them that it's posted, which is that 25.
Great.
You guys
Thank you.
must be doing that. also.
Yeah, it's Mass General Law, right? So this is 35,000 bills times 12 times 3 years, basically.
Yeah, so I did the math earlier, yeah.
I think you said 20,000
20,000 bills.
per month.
It's 2,900 per month, so if 2,900 times 12 times 3 is 104.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, ready for the vote?
Do we?
Oh, who wants to
agreed
read?
yet?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, move it. I had ordered to tell 30E as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder on the recommendation of the general manager.
Second,
All those in favor? Okay. Or nothing? Finance update.
So I'm going to be reporting for year ending 2025. It is already March, but we're just now closing, well, we finished closing the books. We've been very busy getting ready for the audit. CBIZ, which is our financial audit, is coming on site on April 6th. And we have an audit committee meeting scheduled for May 19th. The preliminary requests from CBIZ have been extensive, and they've been collecting things since February 11th. We've been submitting everything on the portal, which is a very convenient way to upload many documents. So I asked Andrew, the lead, because this is not typical to get all this stuff ahead of time, and what we could expect when he comes, and he confirmed that the time on the premises will be less time than usual. So you have in your packet the December financials, and there are pending annual standard audit adjustments. Usually these adjustments are for the actuarial, for pension and OPEB. When we get the reports, the auditors analyze them and give us entries to make the close. Right after the audit's done, we'll be doing the DPU report. We'll be completing it in April because we have to have it done to file for the PTF ARNS filing that we do annually. And this is a credit that we get for having a PTF facility, which Station 4 is part of the pool transmission facility. And we get a credit annually for that. Staffing wise, we just added a new staff accountant with an internal candidate, and that's working out great. And our current staff accountant was recently promoted to senior accountant, and he's learning all kinds of things, including cross-training on payroll so that we have a backup. Happening. It worked earlier, Erin.
Just have a quick question.
Yeah.
You don't, how much does RMLD get for being from the PTF payment, right? That comes from the ISO.
Right, we get between, the normal thing is between 300 and 400,000 a year. Yeah. I thought someone would ask that. Okay, so here are the highlights, the financial highlights for 2025. A net plan increased by almost 21 million, which is 20%. And that's mostly, well, 14.5%, 14.5 million was for the Wilmington substation. And that includes the transformers that we had to buy for the state. Kilowatt hour sales were flat versus 2024. Operating revenue was up 9.4% versus 2024. And power supply expense was 8% down. And power supply expense versus budget was up 2%. And the revenue versus budget was down 3.7%. Purchase power fuel expense exceeded purchase power fuel revenue by 4.8 million. And that's basically due to supply and demand. The supply was affected by the hydro. There's been a drought, and also one of the hydro facilities was shut down in May. It's offline. And the demand is your normal seasonal demands. The net cash from the beginning of the year to the end of the year is down 1.8 million, but that's not too bad since we put so much money into our capital.
Ask a question about the fuel expense versus fuel revenue. So the fuel expense is not a pass-through cost. It is. So how did we end up where the revenue is less than the cost?
Well, we have a reserve that we, try not to spike the rates too much. So when something goes up a lot, we try to keep it balanced and we dip into the reserve.
Okay. So we
So
used
the reserve
4.8.
has gone down quite a bit. It started out at 6 million at the beginning of the year and it's down to 2.5 million. So Megan's group will, work on getting that back up to the desired amount, which is, what would we say, Jason?
Is that
I think it was like between 3 and 4 million.
3 and 4 million.
is that something we voted on? I don't remember if
Yeah.
that we voted on using that much of the reserve.
I'm not sure how much of it, but the idea was to avoid spiking,
There's a slide.
stabilizing rates through
Okay.
balancing that.
Okay.
We're gonna bring it to the slide where it shows.
Okay, perfect.
So the red line is the balance in the reserve, and then you can see the blue bars are whether if we over collected or under collected on the fuel revenue versus what we put the expenses.
So in January, we under collected by almost 2 million, well, it's like 1.7. That's
In
just as an
January.
example, January 25.
Of 25.
January and December was like
Yeah, well, that, because we had harsh weather too.
Yeah,
But the
so-
rate stabilization transfer of 1.5, that's just a reference point, or that
No,
was
that's
the
where it's
decision that
point-
we made
it's-
to move.
Yes, that was you guys voted on that last year in June. To
Got
help
it.
stream out the cost, the power supply cost, the fuel cost over the summer.
Mhm,
So that's why June looks like it was negative, but you can see the bar goes up.
mhm.
So that was the difference. And then December was obviously a lot colder than anticipated. So that actually, we collected less, but they do adjust the rate, the fuel rate each month by looking at all this data. So it gets
Okay.
adjusted.
And
each month.
the fuel rate was, the average fuel rate from 2024 to 2025, about 0.005. So,
I just have just to understand this a little bit. So the fuel expense, sometimes the way that's figured, sometimes you need to pull a little bit of money out of the rate stabilization fund. And sometimes you're putting money into the rate stabilization fund, or,
Rate stabilization was actually separate from the fuel reserve.
okay, so how, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so the fuel reserve is just it's the over under of whatever's been collected revenue versus expenses.
Okay,
That's in its own reserve that we use to try to, and we kind of keep it at around, that we have to return, but we try to keep it around 3 to 4 million. The rate stabilization fund is a fund that we transfer money from usually cash, right, into it
right.
to
yeah,
fund it, and then that we'd use it for the rainy day like we did in June.
Yeah, so that point is not pointing to that red line. That's not the rate stabilization fund. that's saying that we transferred 1.5
the rate
into the
stabilization.
fuel reserve
Yeah.
from the rate stabilization.
So the vote we took was around the rate stabilization, not the fuel reserve.
Last year, correct,
How much is in the rate stabilization, do you know?
It's 6 million.
6 million, yeah, and and that level was voted on 2000.
So keep it around 6 million. That's the-
Yeah, it was a target around 6 million, and that was from like 2009 or 2003.
Is there any reason to think that there's some structural changes that need to change that amount, or is that a
Yes,
an amount?
right, so part of the policy review committee, we had proposed some, a financial policy or new financial policy too, that would specifically probably look at those funds, as one, and also like a number of days of cash on hand. Those are a couple of things that we're gonna suggest that we have in the policies to go forward. That will come later, but. And then as part of that, we'd look at those values to make sure that they're right, and then provide a mechanism to update them regularly. Or, every so often. So that, because right now the restabilization fund is documented in a vote from like 2003 or 2009. So this will give it a little even more formal formality to it than what it's been.
Maybe you could just show the cash balance.
Yeah.
Curve, that would address some of those questions.
So here are all our different cash accounts. As you can see, we ended the year with, obviously the large majority in an operating fund. And, the construction fund and the, depreciation fund is where we transfer money back into the operating account as we spend on, capital projects. Anyone have any questions on any one of these?
So you're saying even after moving that 1.5 million, the cash in the rate stabilization fund is about 6 million today, right?
Right.
Okay,
The only thing that changes that is when we transfer all of the interest that we earn on it.
and the cash deferred fuel reserve is like at 2.6 right now, you're saying, or at least in December, it was at 2.6.
Right.
And that was a low point because December was so negative.
Right, and they'll work on getting back to the desired target.
Okay. Would we enter, I mean, I know we haven't closed books or anything for the first quarter, but it continued to be pretty cold. So would we expect it's gonna be
Yes.
even lower by the end of it?
Not entirely, because they adjusted the rate in January based with some December data. So the rate was higher in January for fuel collection as
Okay.
well. So if it was colder, they were also generating more revenue. And then I'm pretty sure when they did the analysis again for February, the rate kind of lowered a little bit. And they are trying not to move it too much one or the other
Yeah.
way, so that we're way over collecting or way under collecting. We're trying to keep it kind of gradual. And there's a lot that goes into it. It's a pretty big spreadsheet, but so I would say that I think we're okay where we are with the fuel.
Is there any other questions? Did you want to see the other slides or?
I just have another question on the G&A expenses versus budget, the 16.8% reduction below the budget. If you just
You want to know
couple,
what,
what are the key drivers there? It's lower than expected.
this is to budget?
Yes.
I actually have these written. So G&A,
It's on the highlight slide too, I think, right?
oh yeah. But you won't see the detail.
Well, that's what I was
You'll see the
asking, what,
detail.
Right,
what's
right.
underneath the 16.8?
Yeah.
It could be a follow-up if you
Yeah,
have it here.
well, I said 17%, yeah, so trying to pick out the things that, like we came in under on benefits, we came in under on energy conservation. Those are the two big ones. Another one, the education contract. Factors, those are the big ones.
Thank you.
question.
Yeah.
Kilowatt hours flat versus 2024. So we're not seeing a growth in kilowatt hours because of heat pumps and electric vehicle conversion. That's kind of just weather driven and
Yeah, well,
else is
it's hard to say because even though we're probably, have more kilowatt hour sales because of all of that, there might be other factors that is keeping it down, yeah.
It's hard to tell, without, we have to do some more.
real deep dive. Yeah.
I just had a quick question. People who've been here longer probably understand this, but the 2024 carryover from the Wilmington substation's pretty big. When you do your capital budgeting, is that, but I guess I'm curious to know why that carryover is so big. Is it, obviously the project's gonna last a long time, I understand that. Do you do your capital budgeting all in the initial year and then just put things in carryover if the project doesn't complete, or?
Not exactly. What happens is if we're gonna award a bid of like, say, larger equipment purchases like the transformers or the switchgear, in order to be able to award the bid, we have to have it in the budget.
Okay, so it already
to-
has to sort
yeah,
of be banked.
Yeah, we have to have that, whatever the value of the equipment is in that year's budget to be able to award the bid. So, and then obviously these are long lead time items, so they don't necessarily always come in that same year. So you end up with some carryover.
That's great. That's helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. The one that stands out is the construction, but there
Yeah.
are some projects that didn't get off the ground that we had in the budget, a substantial amount of money of 23,500,000 for battery energy and solar projects.
And are those because of delivery delays, or what's the main driver for them not getting?
Well, that was that the projects never started.
Start.
Yeah, I think some of those projects that had some large dollars assigned to them was around the in-territory generation.
And 16 million was for buying land that we didn't
That
buy.
you didn't do.
And how are the lead times now? Because at one time, like lead times were really bad, right? Now lead times were like,
For substation equipment, they might have come in a little bit, but they were always kind of a longer lead time. Like distribution transformers have come back towards normal. They're not quite where they were, like pre-COVID, but they're definitely manageable. They are, we're seeing transformers coming in, in 6
I mean,
months.
the lead times are bad and the costs are also like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Yes. I think the last transformer bid was done last fall. I don't remember exactly what it came in at, but
We paid for a lot of them this year.
yeah.
I
that
mean,
was-
25.
So at one point they were saying like 4-year lead time for distribution transformers, and then they were actually coming in like 6 to 10 months. So they've definitely come back in.
Nice.
Pricing is, I may have come down a little bit, but I don't think they've come down. Pricing might still be up there. Without having a current bid, it's hard to say.
It's another question on costs. As we have attacked the nation of Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is closed, impacting gas prices. What does that mean?
Right now, we're okay because it being spring, we're hedged to just about 100%, so we don't have a lot of exposure on the market, if any. We're gonna be that way till probably hopefully through May, if the hydro performs like it's supposed to. And then starting in June, we'll be open a little bit to the market. It doesn't sound like even if that were to kind of resolve itself very soon, those prices are gonna remain high for a while. So
So
Gas prices will be high, right? Gas prices are
there'll
expected.
be some impact coming around the summer months.
So from a revenue point of view, we pass that fuel charge and
So it depends on, when we get a little closer, we can do a little more analysis. Kind of see what it's kind of doing. The fuel rate will have to be adjusted, but also like last summer, we may want to borrow from the rate stabilization fund a little bit to help offset some of that cost. So we're not fully jumping. But we'll have to continue to look at that. It's a little too early to see exactly what the recommendation would be on that, but
And how long do you think the cost of service study would take?
so I have an update in the GM update.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a little bit of update on that. We do have a proposal that we're evaluating that if the team's good with, we can execute on. And they're saying roughly 12 weeks from, the issue of the PO to the, from the kickoff of the project to having some actual stuff to review and try to execute on. So we're on target for around the summer. That's like 3 months. So we're towards the end of March now. So you're looking at probably June or early July for that analysis.
And a stopgap strategy could be to use the rate stabilization fund to
Yes.
adjust the.
So the rate stabilization fund, there's plenty for all of the things that we just sort of talked about, the expensive gas for the.
Well, we'd also adjust the rate too. It
Volatility.
wouldn't just be, it'd be probably a mixture of both, like we'd adjust.
So that creeps up just a
So
little
the
bit.
rate will probably go up a little bit, but instead of having to raise it entirely to cover the entire cost of what it might be, we could borrow
Right.
a little bit from the rate stabilization fund to help offset that a little bit.
Great.
Are there any other questions?
So we're probably gonna ask about this every month for the foreseeable future, so maybe just plan to give us a brief update every month. Any other questions? Abby? No? Thank you for the update. Okay.
Good.
Right, union negotiations.
Yes, so for the union negotiations, this is for the CT union. This MOA is just around the sick leave buyback language to bring it in line with what was approved with IBW, that the board approved back in like December, January timeframe, I think, in the January meeting. And that's just to adjust like the target for what would allow people to buy back time, and it brings it online, like I said, with IBW. So it's pretty straightforward.
Anybody want to read the motion?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
Move that the RMLD Board of Commissioners vote to approve the executed supplemental memorandum of agreement between AFSCME Clerical Technical Unit and Reading Municipal Light Department.
Second,
Any discussion? No? All those in favor? Or nothing? Thank you. Okay, then we're moving on to meeting minutes approval. First is.
Yeah.
Cab.
Move that the RMLD Citizens Advisory Board approve the following 2026 open session meeting minutes as presented on the recommendation of the General Manager and the Board Secretary, February 17th.
second,
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
all right,
Read the motion.
Sure. Move the RMLD Board of Commissioners approve the following 2026 open session meeting minutes as presented on the recommendation of the General Manager and Board Secretary. February 17th would be the one set.
second,
Any discussion on the notes? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, or nothing?
Yeah, and this next item.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of old executive session minutes from 10 or so years ago and 8 years ago on a variety of
Yeah.
topics. And so they've been through a legal review and some bits of it get cut out because it might be about real estate pricing or things like that. So as board secretary, I looked them over and they all look good. So I don't know if that's a vote or just an update.
So we'll do that in the executive.
Okay, got it. So that's what that's about. So I don't know what
Purpose is just the public to let everyone know.
is letter, yeah, okay, so that's what happened, that's the process, so then we could, so to the public who may be listening. If you're out there somewhere, We'll be going to executive session. We'll be approving ancient executive session minutes that are of not much consequence.
Which some will be released. And
Some will be, excuse me,
Some
yes, some
will
will
be
be
redacted.
released and some will be mildly redacted to reflect things like real estate prices or things.
Mhm.
Thanks for helping me on the report.
You're
Unclear
welcome.
what I was supposed to be doing there.
Appreciate that. Okay, training and travel.
Okay, so as per what's required for any overnight stay for training and travel, I have on here to get your approval to attend the NEPA rodeo conference. So it's a line workers rodeo and an associated engineering operations conference that's held 2 days after that. Reading will have a team competing in the rodeo. And then there's interesting engineering and operations have presentations for a couple of days. I volunteer my time to be on the planning committee for this conference. So between watching our guys compete and hopefully win, and attending the conference, I help plan. It's fun. I'd like to go. Great.
Can we have a reading of the motion? Anyone?
I'll read it. Move that the RMLD Board of Commissioners approve Jason Small's travel to and attendance at the 2026 Northeast Public Power Association NEPA Rodeo Conference to take place on May 11th through May 14th, 2026 at the Loon Mountain Resort in Lincoln, New Hampshire.
Second,
All those in favor? Or is it?
Didn't we almost win that one year or something? I remember.
Yeah, we didn't have a team compete last year, but the year before we did, and they came in second place.
Good
So
show.
goal is first
Me.
place.
Feeling good about it.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah.
It's not, so I know I remember.
Great. Okay, moving right along. So we're moving to the GM goals vote. And maybe we do a reading of the motion and then let you present.
Sure. Move that the RMLD Board of Commissioners approve the general manager's 2026 goals as presented on the recommendation of the general manager.
second,
I don't plan on going through line by line because last month we did that and a lot of them are still the same, but based on the feedback that I received last month's meeting, I incorporated that in here. I added I made a couple of goals more measurable. And then hearing some of the feedback was that it was potentially aggressive. I took several goals and I made them stretch goals. So still trying to keep the focus on trying to hit those targets this year, but understanding that this might be a lot, that they might become stretch goals, and then they'd be obviously if they weren't attained, they'd be right on the next year's goals as a required goal. Those are a couple of the minor changes. I did incorporate a safety goal. I know last month Bob mentioned something around the incident rates and stuff like that, but the rate's the rate, and sometimes you have some control of that or not. But what I felt would provide a direct value to the safety of the organization was to perform an independent third-party audit where we have an auditor come in for a couple of days and go out with the guys and the crews and even in the office, meet with engineering and office people and just kind of giving us some recommendations on how to improve safety. So I felt like that was probably a better goal to attain and would provide direct value to safety. And then the other add was around last month we talked about the record retirement sales and kind of moving it to the fall. So that would be the third goal in the increasingly non-carbon, and that's to perform an ongoing review of the rec retirement levels, evaluate the cost scenarios, and define a balanced strategy to increase non-carbon portfolio options without compromising cost or reliability. So I added that back in to make sure we stay on point this fall and come up with something that we use annually every year. So want to open up to any comments or questions.
Comments from the questions?
They're pretty straightforward.
I mean, this is, yeah, it's a lot. It's good.
Good. Any comments, questions?
There's a lot here. Thank you.
yeah,
The customer program recommendations you have it for Q2. Does that mean like next month or the month after you'll have some recommendations?
I'm hoping to, yes. Yeah. We've already been working on some customer programs that in Megan's team I think a couple are actually ready to pretty much go like right away soon, so. Yeah, sometime in quarter two, I can present on it there. What those are.
Executive, you said?
No, in quarter two, I can present exactly what those are.
Oh, exactly.
Megan helped present on what exactly
That-
those are.
I think if I could ask this, that we have a month where we look at them all and it's not like they're all there and we vote the same night, like in case there's any.
Yes,
you know.
that's the plan. Like I said, we have a couple right now. We're still looking at a couple. That's why I figured sometime in quarter two, we can come back when we have them all.
Right.
Already. There might be another one that we might want to try to implement later in the year, but,
I guess technically. This falls within your authority that you don't have to ask us to change. Policies, right, or programs. But
Right.
still, it would be nice to be able to take a look at them, have feedback.
Yep.
And have that be incorporated to the extent practicable.
yes, yeah, we do plan on presenting to the board, these, program changes.
This chart is very helpful.
Yeah.
This chart was very helpful because I think it should be helpful for you to work with your team so that they know what they're responsible for.
Yes.
Thank you.
Does it come to a vote though? We don't vote on them.
Programs?
Yeah.
No, but we would present, give you the facts, the details behind each of the programs and ask for input and comments, and
And then,
if we have to make any changes, we will.
okay, just the opportunity in case one of us does have a halfway decent idea.
Yes,
And then I assume if there's costs associated with the program, that we would address that
Yes.
through the budget process.
Right.
I have a question. How are we safety wise? Is like, you said like an audit, like
I
curious.
probably should put that in my GM update, but I'll talk about it now. As I've mentioned a couple times in my GM goals, there's APPA does a lot of benchmarking services. So we did apply for the safety award for 2025, and we just received it last week. And there's different levels: gold, platinum, and diamond. Diamond being the best, and we were diamond rated safety.
Amazing. Great job.
So like,
Good job to the whole team. Yeah.
that's
Yeah, huge. Everybody goes home. That's a good thing.
yes.
10
great.
fingers, 10 toes.
It's great. Any other discussion on the goals?
Looks like you completed all the Q1 goals, so congratulations.
Q1 goal is to get this.
Check. Done. All right, ready for the vote then?
Sure.
Okay, all those in favor of approving? Or nothing? Thank you.
Thanks for your work on that.
Yes, thank you.
The GM update.
So for the month of March, since we last met in February, we had 2 storms. We had one almost blizzard, or looking at sort of blizzard back in February 23rd, 22nd or 23rd. We had a few small outages and some calls, but all in all, we managed straight through the storm without too much going on. It was pretty good one there where we didn't have to do too much. And then last week, March 16th into the 17th, we had the windstorm, and that was a little bit more involved. With those high winds over those 2 days, we had over 50 events that the team had to go out and look at and work on. Most of them were due to trees or tree limbs coming down. We did have a couple of large outages in the Reading and Wilmington area. A couple of circuits that were out, so they were between 1,000 customers to 2,000 customers on each one of those circuits when they went out, and they were out for a couple of hours. And then we had a couple of momentary outages where the recloser of the breaker, it's programmed to allow a temporary fault to clear, so it opens up briefly and then closes back in. So we had a couple of those that affected 1,500 to 3,000 customers on each of those circuits. That was also Reading and Wilmington. But overall, it was a pretty long day from Monday night to Tuesday night. Guys were here for almost 24 hours, so I'd say it was a moderate event, but everybody was back on at the end of the day, and nobody was out too long.
Just out of curiosity, do you guys bring your own chainsaws and everything to chop up stuff, or?
The guys do have some chainsaws, but it'd be more of the smaller stuff. Any of the larger leaders or trees we have tree crews
They go with you, you call them out, or?
Yeah, they're a contractor that we use for our regular daily tree trimming for maintenance, and then we bring them in on storms to assist. Last week, or a couple weeks ago, NIPA hosted a GM roundtable in Littleton at the NIPA facility. I attended. It was probably 15 to 20 GMs there, and the main topic of conversation centered mostly around union negotiations. There was probably half dozen to 10 right now that their contracts are up in the middle of negotiations. So that kind of, luckily for us, we were able to get those done in December. So, but that was the bulk of the conversation. And then Mike Highland, who runs NEPA, he gave an update on some of the training initiatives that he was trying to push forward, some new training type opportunities.
And these are 3-year contracts.
Yes, we got 3. Yeah, we're in year 1 of 3 years. As you asked, the cost of service study update, we did get a proposal the team's currently reviewing. Hopefully I've asked for that to be reviewed by the end of this week, so we can move on that. And as I said, the pricing was within our budget, what we budgeted for, and the timeline of 12 weeks to complete meets our timeline as well, the schedule needs. So if everything's good, we'll proceed with that. We also went through an S&P global rating for our credit rating, and we completed that over a course of a couple weeks, and we maintained our rating from last year, which was a AA negative, which is good.
So when RMLD borrows money, I thought we were getting like the Reading rate, right?
We do get the rating. If we borrow through the town, we get the Reading rate. The only other way to kind of really bond is through MWEC, and that's their rate. So, but they still go through and they give every municipal light plant a rating, and you participate, they give you the rating.
So we can get the town of Reading rate, and if we go through MWEC financing, then
Yeah, if we
then
wanted
you
to
need,
bond.
then you need the S&P global rating.
I believe it would be MWEC that's borrowing the money, so I think it's their rating. I
Okay,
don't know how exactly that works, a little bit different, but right now we're not currently planning on bonding any project, but if we did, or if we needed a credit rating, our credit rating is good.
Well, if you want to know more about MWEC borrowing, MLCA is having a discussion Thursday at 7 o'clock, project financing by MWEC. Tom Berry of MWEC CEO will present pooled loan program. So write your questions down,
Might be
and
that.
be having that program on Thursday. Thanks for prompting.
And then the other big item was the Wilmington substation. The switchgear was delivered a couple weeks ago. It's on site, and the next slide actually shows a couple pictures of that. Where it was being lifted up onto the foundation, and then the second picture on the right is it sitting on its foundation. When it was delivered, they took a couple days to make it kind of watertight and sealed and welded. It came in 5 or 6, it came in a lot of parts, but they have to put it back together. So that's done, but right now they're in the process of reconnecting all the wiring that's inside, which takes a little bit of while. There's a lot of connections that I made, so that's going to go for quite a few weeks. And then so that's there and that's ready. The transformers are there. So next up is making the connections from that switchgear to the transformers, and from the switchgear out to the distribution circuits in the field, which that's ongoing. And that hopefully we'll have that done by the end of the year. And then the only other piece left would be the transmission connection, which National Grid is working on. So it's on its way. And that's the GM update. Questions?
Questions? No? Okay. Operating cadence, any updates to this one?
We just made minor modifications based on what we've done to date. This is primarily for 2026, so it's some stuff has moved around a little bit. So we made sure that we put the certificate review in September, and because Megan's going to be here, we shifted some of her other presentations so she can get them all done while she's here, as opposed to hitting every month. So there's a couple minor modifications like that where we'll tweak a couple of things to make it flow a little better.
So just on the certificate retirement piece, I So the presentation and the vote is both gonna be in December. I see here. I thought you said September.
Certificate.
Might have been that. It should be.
Oh, I've seen, yeah, I was seeing customer. I was trying to draw the line across.
So September, October, whatever the date is, maybe we can just adjust that, but it would be great to do again, the kind of update 1 month and then vote next month in case there's any feedback.
Okay. Yeah.
So. And we did have the vote scheduled for policies this month, but we're not expecting to do that until June.
I would say June, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments on the plan? Okay. A record for the meeting tonight. Okay, so scheduling with the 4th grade art contest, best night of the year, tomorrow night. We're gonna take that. I can't wait. And then any questions or concerns on any of our meeting schedules?
I thought you and I were going to switch, October, November responsibilities for the AP warrant.
We definitely can do that. I'm fine with that if we wanna just,
Cause I will be
you're gonna be away.
halfway around the world,
That's right.
In Thailand.
Indonesia.
Oh, I did eat it.
So you want me to take AP in October, you will take payroll in November?
Correct.
That just puts, as long as it's fine with you, Pam, that puts you on AP 2 months in a row.
As long as that's okay with you, it's fine with me.
I will make that edit. See this is the next agenda.
Okay. Excellent.
So we done?
We can go to adjournment or a cab.
Move that the RMLD Citizens Advisory Board adjourn regular session. Roll call vote required.
Second,
Second, Charlie Kusin.
on
Bob Castle, aye.
Tim Woods, aye.
Vivek Sonia. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to executive session. Pick that one.
Move that the RMLD Board of Commissioners, excuse me, go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law 164, Section 47D, exemption from public records and open meeting requirements in certain instances for the approval and release of executive session minutes and return to regular session, sole purpose of adjournment.
Second.
Ray got it.
Good. I was clean sweep on the seconds this time around.
Roll call vote required.
Swanson, yes.
Right order, Ray. I guess.
Have it. Aye.
Gastelakis, aye.
Oh,
Okay.
wait.
Thank you. Thanks, Cab. Go to exec.